I just want to take a second and say how grateful I am to all of you guys. This is my home turn. I'm looking out, seeing all of your faces. These are people that I've seen you guys, like the carp cabin here. I've seen you guys grow from the height of my knee to now some of y'all are taller than me. And my sister's out there. I can't really see where you are, but I love you, Maddie. And I'm just thankful to every single one of you guys here for believing in me as a counselor, to just get me to this moment. And that's one thing that I've struggled with this past year, was believing in myself. And I'm not going to get into too much detail about it. That was definitely had a rough year, but all of that changed the moment I drove my car through the front gate at Camp Longhorn and I saw Charlie Longhorn staring down at me. Because I don't know what it is about this place, but there's something in my heart that just tells me that I belong and what I do here matters. And I truly believe that. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional already. See, in order for me to express how I feel about this place, I got to go back to how I started at camp. Back in 2019, my parents were fortunate enough to purchase a lake house on the other side of Inks Lake. And obviously we would drive by Camp Longhorn time and time again. And if we flash forward to 2021, I was actually in the Marine cabin in this exact term. And it's pretty sad to say that not many of my cabin mates are still here from that term. Brody Key, you're one of my cabin mates from that term, and I love you, man. I still remember the day that we got woken up for the Marine wake up, and we went outside and we had us roll around in the mud, which turns out it was actually runoff from the library. And we all got horrible rashes. I remember that. While it's sad that not many of my cabin mates are still here, there are some of them that I still keep in touch with. Like Brody, every time I see him, every single year, it's like nothing changed. And even just that year, I met somebody that's still here to this day, Jake Friedman. I can't see where you are out there, but I'm also thankful to you, man. To this day, he's one of my best friends now. He was a Wrangler when I was a Marine, so he was someone that I looked up to. He actually gave me one of my only ever demerits as a camper when he was a Wrangler and I was a Marine, and I'm still salty about that to this day. And though now I may be like your supervisor in some way, you are still have much more life experience than me. For that, you're still my Uncle Jake. And if we go to the next year, I was in the Wrangler cabin. We had the exact same cabin mates, Brody. I don't know if you remember that. But the Wrangler cabin and the Marine cabin, my year when I was a Marine, was actually so small that we would move through activities together. And that next year, the Marines actually had enough to where we could move as separate cabins. So I got the chance to meet a lot of younger campers, specifically some of those Marines that I want to call out here. Callan Smith, I know you're standing back there. David McCarron, Josh Honig, I don't know where you are. Ben Abbott, of course Aiden Bevo. I want to thank you guys. All right, I know you guys are still out here today, and I like to think that maybe we bonded in some way back in that walleye cabin back in the day. And these guys are still here to this day, which just goes to show how special this Camp Longhorn place really is, if I had to say so. Because I remember you guys got into so much trouble that year, and you still came back, and I respect that for you. But one of the most important things that happened to me that year, see, I had Mason vote as my counselor 2 years in a row, both my Marine and my Wrangler year. And that year was our Wrangler year where we wrangled cabins, and you guys in the carp cabin, I had you guys as perch when I was a Wrangler. So seeing you guys this tall now, that really tugs on my heartstrings a little bit. But Mason, I remember one night he told me, he looked me dead in the eyes, and he said that someday I'd be a great counselor. And oh my gosh, I'm crying already. And I really took that to heart, because I really feel like I made it in some ways. Like I really made him proud. And so, if we flash forward to the next year, back then, sixth term didn't actually have a Ranger trip, so David, you were kind enough to let me move the first term to go on that Ranger trip. And that was a 2-week Ranger trip, which was longer than I'd ever been away from home. I got homesick then too. But back whenever I was getting into first term, I remember getting to that bus stop, and my mom dropped me off. She put my trunk in the bus, and I walked up the steps, and I moved to the back of that bus. This was the older boys' bus. I don't know why I'm so embarrassed about this to this day, but I looked at the first guy that I saw that looked like he was my age, and I asked him if he was in the walleye cabin, and he said Ranger cabin, because back then I didn't know that those were two different cabins, and for some reason I am still embarrassed about that to this day. That man that I asked if he was in the walleye cabin, he said he was in the Ranger cabin, of course. That was Sheldon Engstrom, and he's not here tonight, but he is my brother. And someday you guys are gonna meet a friend like that. Girls, you're gonna meet a friend like that you know is just someone that you are best friends with in some way. And that Sheldon is that for me. See, he's going to be my roommate this next year in college, and I have to thank you, David, for giving me the chance to meet Sheldon. If I could get one point across tonight, it's that camp bonds people in ways that I cannot explain. I think Ava said this too. There's something that from the outside, you look at this place and it's like, oh, it's a summer camp and it's fun. But every time I think about Camp Longhorn, I think about meeting Sheldon for the first time. And he's my best friend, and I love him more than a lot of things on this planet. See, that Ranger trip here, that was fun. I got the chance to bond with Sheldon a lot. I got the chance to bond with some of my other cabin mates. Not many, none of them are here tonight, I don't think, so I'm not really going to name them. But a lot of those guys that are here earlier in the summer, they're like brothers to me. I really mean that. Some of my highlights from that trip were mainly finished, like getting to the top of the Great White Sand Dunes at the very last. Like I was the last one up there out of maybe 35 Rangers, which that was embarrassing. But we came back to camp, and we sat down with David, Shane Rowe, and Trace. I can't remember if you were there, but you might have been there for our interviews back then, because this was the first Ranger trip that Shane Rowe had ever gone on. We sat down with that interview, and you guys asked me who my counselor inspiration was. And I looked you dead in the eye and I said Finn Colley. And I think that sealed my fate forever, that I would always be in Division I. So, that's probably where it all started. If we go flash forward to my JC year, now I'm on the other side of things. I'm no longer a camper. And Ashton, you were actually my first ever head counselor. And for that, I can't stop crying, man. For that, I'm thankful for it, Gabe, because you taught me everything I know. And I love you like a father figure in some ways. So thank you, Ashton. But that year, I got the chance to meet a lot of people. It was my first ever time in the minnow cabin. It was Ashton Cole was my head counselor, along with Connor Guest, who I believe was the co-head that term. And Sheldon was also in that cabin with me. And that minnow cabin really set my love for minnows. It just got that ball rolling to where I knew I would always be in Division I. I knew this was my calling. And to this day, I can't say that I've ever been in a minnow cabin that I didn't feel like I needed to be a part of. I can say that for any cabin that I've ever been a part of. I feel like I've always needed to be a part of that cabin. It's like some string theory twist of fate put me in that cabin. And I'm always grateful for those. Always be grateful for you guys. And that JC year, I got the chance to meet some people who are sitting out here tonight, who I would consider my best friends. Merrick Houston, you're one of them. I love you too, man. Diego's not here tonight, but he was one of my other first ever head counselors, and he taught me just how to specifically how to do my cabin book correctly, which that doesn't mean much to campers, but counselors, you might get a kick out of that. I also got the chance to really meet and get to know Vincent Ferry, who's also not here tonight, but he taught me just the right ways to interact with campers and show campers that I really appreciate them. And I'm thankful for him for that too. And I got to meet another one of my best friends to this day, Isaac Rosario, and he's also not here tonight, and I'm sad about that, but it's okay. He taught me how to blend what both Vinny and Diego had taught me, and that I should find the time to be fun with campers, but also find the time to be serious and really lay down the law at times. He really found a way to bring that together. And if I could name one person who's my role model now, it would be Isaac. Oh, and speaking of Isaac, actually that same year I got a chance to be in a cab with Isaac Might, who's another one of my best friends sitting out there tonight. So thank you too. My next year at camp, I learned a lot. I got to put in a lot of practice of what I learned my JC year with interacting with campers. And I look out here tonight, I remember last year, sixth term, a lot of you guys used to call me Sketch. Oh, I saw so many fingers just go up in the crowd. Yeah, I love all you guys for that. This is fun time. So that year, I got some really good cabins. I got the chance to be in a cabin with Jace Bennett, who was another one of my inspirations as a camper. I got the chance to be in a cabin with Josh Weber, and he was another one of my inspirations as a camper, who I'm still great friends with today. And that year really solidified the fact that even though I explored around in D2, never really made it into D3, and that's mostly David's fault, but I explored around in D2, I just found that I love D1 the most. So if we come to this year, and it's hard for me to look back on my Marine year, because David still lords this over me to this day. My Marine year, when I was a camper, I was homesick the entire time, and he still brings this up. But this year, David, you better be proud of me, because I've been here since first term, and I've been in the minnow and perch cabin the entire time. And this has truly gone to show me everything that I've learned, everything that I've picked up as a counselor, as a camper. I pour my heart out to you guys. All my minnows sitting there, I pour my heart out to you guys. Okay? I love you guys too. So, I want to end off with some thank yous. David, I want to thank you for believing in me, even whenever I didn't believe in myself, especially this past year. Stacy, I want to thank you for being one of the sweetest and kindest people I've ever met. Trace, you inspire me to get stuff done a lot, and you're also one of the funniest guys I've ever met. Katie, you're one of my favorite supervisors that I've ever had, especially when I was Mr. Swimbay this summer. Thank you for that. Tyler, where's he at? Tyler, I want to thank you for being a good role model for me, because I still think about you every single day. Beth is not here right now, but I want to thank her for the good food that she makes for us and all the funny moments that I've shared with her. I want to thank Minnie for being one of the most friendly faces at camp. I love you, Minnie. I want to thank Grayson Bennett for always smiling and waving at me, and I don't know if she's up here tonight. And I want to thank Mason Vogt, for even whenever he was my counselor, believing in me. And now that he's my director that I talk to all the time, I want to thank him for believing in me too, still now. So if I could get one thing across to you guys tonight, it's to believe in the people who believe in you. Okay? Because I've had a rough time with believing in myself this year. And if it wasn't for David, if it wasn't for Trace or Katie or Stacy or Tyler or any of the people here, I don't think I'd have nearly as much self-esteem as I do when I come through the gates of Camp Law. This place really is unexplainable to the outside world. And I want to thank each and every one of you individually for being a part of my camp journey, for being a part of your own camp journey.